Hey Austin, how do you find contractors, specifically pipeline contractors? And what kind of contractors should I look for? Very good question. Somebody commented in a previous video pretty much that exact question. They didn't say specifically pipeline contractors, but I'm going to kind of focus on that because I assume whatever video it was on, I have in my head that that's kind of what they were getting at, is how do you find pipeline contractors? One of the most commonly asked questions that we get around here is how to get into the pipeline, how to get started rig welding. So I'm just more or less having that pipeline contractor question in my head. But some of these answers and brainstorming that I'm fixing to do here may help with finding any kind of welding work. So keep that in mind. So the first question, Austin, how do you find contractors? The simple answer is through people that I know, through people that trust me, that know me, through people that I have relationships with. But obviously that may not help you, so I'm going to kind of break that down and try to help you as much as I can in this area. I'm going to share the most important stuff here at the beginning of the video, and then I'm going to actually give several examples of what kind of contractor should you look for after all the important stuff. That way you have something tangible to actually Google or actually ask around about or stop in at, or whatever route you take, you actually have some tangible things to write down or search for. First and foremost, I recommend watching the video that we've already made called How to Get into Pipeline Welding. And on the thumbnail, I think it says Pipeline Welder Prep. Has a picture of the right-of-way, pipe, welding trucks. Pretty cool thumbnail if you ask me. Watch that video. I recommend doing all those things because all those things are going to help you find these contractors. Another thing that I recommend doing, which I think is the last tip in that video, which is networking, socializing. That is very, very, very important, especially if right now you do not know anyone in the industry. One of the main things that you need to focus on is putting yourself in situations and around people that are in the welding industry, have connections to the pipeline industry. Be creative, tap into that creative part of your mind and think about how you can get yourself around these people that can get you connected. Obviously, social media is a big one that I recommend because that's the world we live in. So joining groups on social media. We've actually created a social media platform just for people like you and I, welders, future welders, business owners, etc. It's called the AROS Welding Inner Circle. You can find it on our website. There will be a link in the description below this video, aroswelding.com. If you don't know how to look in the description below this video, just go to aroswelding.com, look under the education tab, and then click on Inner Circle. And you can read all about the Inner Circle. That would be a great place to start surrounding yourself with people that are in the industry or want to be in the industry. Welding school is another good one, depending on your situation, if you have access to a welding school. The more and more I think about my situation and the road that I took, welding school was a huge part of my network right at the beginning of my welding career. That's actually how I got my first pipeline welding, or it was actually a pipe fabrication job, but it was through somebody that I met at welding school. And actually, he wasn't even in my class. He was like a grade or two above me. He was actually in my brother's welding class. So just doing whatever it takes to be involved in a welding community, several welding communities, that is high on my list of things that I recommend doing to help find pipeline contractors. So by doing all these things, the things in the video that I recommend you watching, getting involved in a welding community, you will start building your reputation. One of the things that I recommend doing in that video is getting welding experience. So by getting welding experience, you are sharpening your skill set, your welding skill set. The more and more that you do that welding and do that skill set and practice that skill set by doing work for other people or doing work for yourself or for family, whether you charge for it or not, you will start building people's trust in you, your name, and your skill set. Trust is one of the most important things when it comes to your reputation. Building your reputation as a welder pretty much sits right on top of trust. Building a business in general, people need to trust you. They need to feel that they can trust you with your ability to do whatever it is that you're building for them or whatever you're doing for them. Not only on the skill set side, like making sure your welds are sound, but also in the transition period as far as communicating. Trust is a huge deal when it comes to building your reputation. Most people are concerned with their own reputation. So for example, I care about my reputation. So before I recommend another welder like yourself to go weld on something for somebody that I know, I need to trust you, because if I recommend you without knowing anything about you and you do a bad job for said person, that comes back on my reputation. Obviously, there's things I can say to this person like, I don't know this person at all, give them a chance. That way, whenever this person does hire you and for some reason you mess up or do a bad job or whatever, they don't instantly think, oh, well, Austin vouched for that person. They think, oh, well, Austin did tell me that, I was taking a risk by hiring this person. So there's things you can say to avoid that, but my point is I would rather you build a great reputation and get to know me or someone else that you have connections to, build your trust with them, build your trust directly with the customer, because that's just going to allow you to make your way to finding a pipeline contractor a lot easier and a lot more authentically, if you will. So all that to say is building your reputation is how you will find contractors. All right, so before I name what kind of contractors you should look for, I wanted to give you an example of the road I took when getting my first pipeline job. So earlier I mentioned the way I got my first pipe welding job was through somebody that I went to welding school with, or somebody that was in the welding school network. This is a very prime example of my reputation doing its own work, because I did not know or have even that great of a relationship that I remember with this welder that went to school with my brother. In fact, I asked him after he gave me that opportunity to test on my first pipe fabrication job. The question I asked him was, why did you call me? Why did you give me this opportunity to take this test up here? And the answer he gave me was more or less because of my reputation. So before he called me, I had worked at a steel supply for 3 years. This welder actually went into that steel supply, knew the owner of the steel supply, and the owner of that welding supply, of that steel supply, told that welder buddy of mine about me, saying, I do good work, yada yada. I don't know what all words they used, but he vouched for me. He told this welder that I was a good welder. Wasn't even welding on pipe. I was just building structural stuff, running a squirt gun like I do here in my shop. But because of keeping my head down and just getting welding experience, people were talking about me. So that's what I mean by building reputation. That 3 years is what it took for him to call me. Probably over 3 years really, because after I quit that welding supply, started working for myself, I got on with a drilling rig yard using my welding truck, and I was working for this drilling rig place for about 6 months, and out of nowhere, that welder buddy of mine, his name's Michael, I don't know why I keep calling him welder buddy, Michael called me and said, hey, do you want to test 2 hours away? I've got some pipe fabrication from One Oak, and I've got a test for you if you want it. I was just, for one, I was blown away, because like I said, I didn't talk to him on the daily. I knew who he was, and we would maybe say hi here and there, but I didn't like have that strong of a relationship with him. So it was just amazing to me that he even called me. But anyway, I ended up quitting the drilling rig place, going to take my test, passed my test, got the job. But that is how I got the opportunity to weld on X-ray pipe, was through over 3 years of just building my reputation, just by getting welding experience. I was going to share another scenario, but I don't want this video to get too long. The other scenario is exactly the same situation, and it all just had to entail knowing people in the industry. So once you get into the industry and you start building your name, everything just kind of, as long as you're making a good name for yourself, you will start getting recommended, or whenever you do cold call and say, hey, I know this person or whatever, you can call them and ask them about me or whatever. It's kind of like a invisible or word of mouth resume or application. You know, whenever you go to fill out an application, or for those of you that have filled out applications, if you're still in high school, you may not know what I'm talking about, but whenever you go to fill out an application, there's a section for references. And that's so who you're applying to work for can call people that know you and know your reputation and ask them about you. It's the same type of deal in the pipeline world, but without applications. It's all right here. It's all the rumors that are going around, the rumor mill. That's how you get jobs in the welding industry, and a lot of industries really. That's just how the world turns, is through your reputation. So key word of the video, reputation is how you find contractors. All right, now I'm gonna give you an idea of what type of contractors to look for. In short, underground utility contractors. Gas line contractors, water line, sewage line, electrical line, internet lines, road boring contractors. This is a real big deal nowadays, directional drilling. Because of the internet nowadays, besides Elon Musk's Starlink situation, they've got what they call this new fiber optic or fiber internet, whatever it's called. So to lay these fiber internet lines, they use road boring contractors to put this internet line underground, under roads, under rivers. That way they don't have to dig a ditch. They can just take this directional drill and just drill through the ground to wherever they need it. Well, to go up underneath roads and stuff, a lot of times they need what they call casing, which is steel in a lot of cases. Therefore, they need welders. So road bore contractors are a good one to look for when trying to get your name out there, or when trying to get jobs as a mobile welder. So see, now we're getting into just mobile welding in general, not just pipeline contractors. But some of those people that work for these road bore contractors might have had pipeline experience. So therefore, if you get a one-off job for a road bore contractor, you might meet somebody there, network, you're building your network, you're getting to know somebody, and you're doing good welds on this project. That guy that you meet that has had pipeline experience, back whenever it was booming, he knows a lot of people in the pipeline industry. All of a sudden you get recommended, and bada bing, bada boom, you're in the pipeline industry. Don't get too hyped. I'm known to be very optimistic, so it's not always that easy, but I'm just telling you what my optimistic brain does when I think about these scenarios. It's so easy to take a break for a minute. It's so easy to get discouraged whenever you don't know anybody in the industry, and it's easy to get discouraged whenever you're trying to get started because nobody knows you. You get overwhelmed maybe because of social media, and you're like, man, these people are just out there doing stuff, but I can't find no work, or I can't do this, I can't do that. It's so easy to get discouraged, and so I think that's one of the reasons I'm doing what I do, is to inspire those of you that get discouraged because of my highly optimistic mindset. Even though it's good to be aware of the world's not all roses, I've learned some of that the hard way. I do think it's good to have a healthy dose of optimism, because that's what keeps us feeling good and it keeps us motivated. I would rather give you inspiration and hope and a non-shortage mindset. That way you can get your mind right and be motivated to try these things, versus give you these Debbie Downer things like, oh, work's too slow, you know, the administration that's in office, there ain't no pipeline work going on, there ain't no, you know, you get so discouraged through these other different world events that's going on that you think that there's no opportunity out there. And I'm here to tell you that's just not the case. There is still tons of opportunity out there. You just have to know how to go about building your reputation and having the right mindset to go after these things. A little bit of education, that's what we're here for. Off my soapbox, back to the list of different contractors. Pipeline maintenance contractors, road construction, any road construction contractors. While I'm naming these off, I literally mean get your pencil and pen out, pause this video, get your pencil out, jot these things down on a notepad just like I've done here, and throughout your day, throughout your week, Google these places. Get on the Google and punch these in and start calling these people. Start finding addresses. You know, I hesitate to even say that because a lot of times you're going to get dead ends through this, but at least you can be in the network, or at least be in the know about some names. That way, when you are at these social events or you are in the inner circle, you can be like, yeah, I heard of that road construction place, or I, you know, ran into this guy one time that worked for a concrete contractor, or a dirt work contractor. Dirt work contractor is another good one for mobile welding, because dirt work contractors have big equipment that need welded on from time to time, and they build ponds, which they need pipe welded together for. There again, another opportunity for a mobile rig welder. Trucking company, I've met welders that have worked at sand plants before using their welding truck, just doing maintenance on sand plants, concrete plants, because I mean, things are built out of metal. That's the biggest deal with drilling rigs. So drilling rig companies, because drilling rigs are made out of, I would literally say, I don't know this is not a fact, but I would literally think that they are made primarily of like 95% metal. So they need welders. Roofing contractors, insulation contractors. You may be asking yourself, roofing, insulation, what do you mean? General contractors that build houses, they a lot of times want handrails put in or around their houses. You need a welder, sometimes a mobile welder, to install this stuff. So house contractors, general contractors, restaurants. I've done welding for restaurants before. Again, handrails, exterior stuff. Metal building contractors, fence contractors, farmers, ranchers. That's all I have wrote down. But literally, the list is endless. The economy we live in needs welders. You just have to work on building your reputation, getting experience. I hope this video was helpful. I don't know where you're at in the process, but for some reason, if you have connections, but you don't have a mobile rig put together yet, go to aroswelding.school and you can find a course called The Quick Rig. It's designed so you can put together an affordable welding rig in a pretty fast manner. That way you can start servicing your customers, start making money, and then upgrade from there. Maybe you don't have connections to jobs and you just need to start building your network. Like I said, check out the Aros Welding Inner Circle. You can find it at aroswelding.com. There will be links of both of these websites in the description of this video. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or any other videos that you think would be helpful over this topic. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have an awesome weekend, and remember, learn something every day.